We need to articulate our need and desire for God. 1 Chronicles, the 13th chapter and the 3rd verse is kind of the centerpiece of this story. It's David's passion to bring the ark of our God back to us. It's David essentially saying, if I'm going to be king here, then we need God's presence among us. Now, there are so many things that could be said about this. Let me just make one observation that seems important. Expressing desperation for God is not a crutch that is to be used by a bunch of weak, little, sissy, wimpy Christian people who are such a bunch of losers that they're those poor little folks that need God. Anybody ever heard me say anything like that before? I mean, how many of you have heard somebody say that to you? Religion is a crutch. Spirituality is a crutch. Christianity is a crutch. The only people that go, they'll patronizingly pat you on the back and say, oh, that's nice, you go to that church, you probably need that. But not me, because I'm a big, tough, strong winner. And I just, only losers need all that. Let me get this straight. David has just been coronated king. He's just captured Jerusalem. Thousands of years later, world history still rotates around what David had just done. It's the first time that Jerusalem's been captured according to God's promises by the Israelites. He's just become the most famous leader in the world. He doesn't say, how can we bring God's home to us, because he's a loser. He says, how can I bring the presence of God back to me? Because he understands that the level of responsibility and success and stewardship he's been given necessitates that God be in the middle of the whole thing. We need to learn to express our need from God at every season of our lives. It's like a newly elected president saying, if I'm going to be president here, then what I need to make sure I do is I need to make sure that my life is filled with God's presence, because I don't want to try to lead this place without Him. It's the CEO saying, if I'm going to be the executive here, I need God's presence in my life. It's the mother on a Monday morning with kids running all over the place saying, if I'm going to be a good mother here, I need the presence of God. We need to hear David articulating his need and desire, not from a place of weakness any more than any other human being, but articulating, regardless where I'm at in my life, I need God's presence. And see, we have to articulate our need and desire, because God doesn't show up unless we ask Him to. If you want to bring God home to you, you've got to go get Him.